High five. High five. Okay. Good boy, I'll try. Hi everybody, so JJ here with Experiences with My Dog, and we're going to be talking about bone broth. So this is probably one of the, I think, new trends that we're seeing amongst some pet food companies, and I think it's an awesome trend to see. Bone broth really took off amongst actually a lot of people-oriented food over the last few years because of a lot of benefits that have been shown that it can provide, as well as its amazing flavor profile, and so now it's awesome that it can be provided for dogs. So I was with Erica, and we were at our local Pet Food Express picking up some food for Ultron here, who was joining us for the shoot, as well as actually picking up some items for our new addition in terms of our foster rescue, Otis, who we're taking care of until he can hopefully get adopted. So if you're interested in him, maybe find some pictures and some links for him in the description below. But that being said, we've already tried a couple of broths in the past from a couple other companies, and I've absolutely loved it because of the, like I said, the nutrients, the vitamins, and the benefits that overall bone broth can provide. And so when I saw that Primal had released a line of bone broth, I was really excited. I said, let's go ahead and pick it up. Let's try it out. And so we picked it up. We tried it out. It was fantastic. The dogs absolutely loved it, as we expected they would. And so we went back and we picked up all 4 flavors. So let's go ahead and just first in general talk a little bit about bone broth. So if you're not familiar, pretty much bone broth, it's a broth that's pretty much simmered down. Of course, you're utilizing things like, beef bones or, chicken bones, chicken feet, depending on the protein. There are 4 proteins in general. So you have chicken, beef, turkey, and pork. And then that is, of course, simmered with quite a number of vegetables and reduced down to ultimately give you this really, really rich stock, which has quite a number of benefits for dogs. So you're going to get a lot of really great things in terms of, one, you can help improve their digestion and their overall gut quality. That's really important to terms make sure that they maximize digestion, that they have strong immunity, helps to minimize sometimes allergic reaction in terms of seasonal transitions, can help with young dogs, very active dogs, old dogs that have mobility concerns or where you want to maintain high quality of mobility, because you're actually going to have gelatin base, which gelatin base helps to provide a high quality glucosamine, which you would normally have to supplement your dog with, let's say, form like a supplement directly designed for glucosamine, where you can do that naturally as part of their diet. So, pretty much, if you've never experienced bone broth, unlike, let's say, a soup, which is already be very thin and liquidy, this is going to have a little bit of kind of a gelatinous, kind of chunky structure to it until you warm it up. And you could go ahead and serve this cold, but ideally you do want to warm it up. You don't want to be too aggressive. You want to go to recommendation for Primal's 170 degrees. That'll give you a really nice consistency. And then from there, you have a couple of different options. For us, we do lightly cooked or raw based food for our diets. We feel that's the most biologically appropriate and most nutrient dense based items to give them. So this is just a great way of adding a little bit of flavor diversity and overall just supplementing their food experience. If you're somebody that's treating their dog with kibble, this is definitely a way to add, I think, a little bit more appetizing palatability to the kibble, add a little bit of flavor diversity to it. And so the other option would be as just a general treat or hydration. Some dogs don't necessarily drink water as much as they should, so this is a great way to get them a little bit more water while also giving them some other benefits. And of course, it's just a general treat. They're going to love it, especially now that we're moving from fall into winter. We're getting into the spring, and then eventually the summer. It's going to get a lot warmer. So, some cool things that you can do with broths like this is that essentially you could go ahead and put them into ice cubes, and then you could treat these over to your dogs, give them a nice little way to cool down, along with something that's really extremely palatable. So, some really cool points, I think, in general in terms of bone broth. If we talk again about the specifics here from Primal, like we said, they've got 4 different versions. They come in 20-ounce pouches right here. They're going to be sold to you frozen. You want to go ahead and thaw them out a couple of days beforehand to make sure that they go ahead and get completely de-thawed. And then from there, like I said, ideally, you probably want to warm them up. They do make a recommendation that you want to use them within 7 days, and I think that's pretty much on the ball. You can probably get away a little bit more if you want to maybe refreeze them so that you can go ahead and keep them for a longer period of time. So I think you've got a little bit of flexibility in that regard, but definitely I would recommend that, of course, you warm it up to maximize the ability on how you could use it. Now, the ingredient composition is something I think Primal has always done outstanding wise. You see this in the quality of their foods, whether it's raw or any one of their treats, or any one of their freeze-dried products that they have. And I'm just going to read you overall the base of the stock, which they use along with the bones from whichever other animal protein they have. And the great thing about them is that they're all organic. So we've got right here winter squash, bok choy, carrots, celery, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, parsley, organic cilantro, ginger, and then turmeric. Sorry, as I noted, all of them are organic. There's also no garlic or onion, so you don't have to worry about that. And low sodium. Sometimes you find stuff, bad dog treats, bad items out there that use sugars and sodiums. There's no reason to introduce that for your dog's diet, so you don't have to worry about that here. So that's fantastic that they've done that. So really, really good in that regard. And then, if you're taking a look at the entire kind of aspect of where they're sourcing these items, they do a really great job. So one, you've got, take for instance here, this is New Zealand beef, grass-fed for the chicken, cage-free, vegetarian-based feed for the chickens, all produced here in the United States. So really, really great stuff and something you can feel confident in. Primal's really been probably one of the leaders in the industry when it comes to biologically appropriate and high quality pet foods and supplementation. So you definitely can feel good about that. In terms of the overall package, it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, you got these pouches. You can freeze them. They got an easy pour spot right here, so you can go ahead and pour it into the bowl or whatever it is that you're looking for. Mr. Ultron, I think, is taking the smell here. This is chicken. I know he wants this. He wants this a lot. So pretty easy in that regard. About the only thing that I'm not sure on is that they don't have any clear indicators on the recyclability of this packaging material. I'd love it for it to be fully recyclable. I do know that some of the other broths out there use like a Tetra Pak carton-based design, which allows them to be recycled by most facilities. So I'll try to find out that information and put that information in the description below once I find that out. But beyond that, I definitely recommend, if you're right now you're not using bone broth, or you're trying, like I said, to appease a picky eater or just add a little bit more flavor diversity for your dog, look for ways to improve hydration. And like I said, along with all that, just give them some additional nutrients and minerals. This is a really easy way. Cost-wise, it's pretty reasonable. 20 ounces at $12.99 at Pet Food Express. I think that's a great price comparative. If you look at some of the others in the marketplace, you're actually getting less and you're paying either the same or a little bit more. About the only area that you could necessarily beat this out would be either one, there's sometimes some powdered products that you can add water to, but sometimes I think the quality of the gelatin base and some of the other nutrient composition wouldn't be as good. So those necessarily are not my preferred options for a broth. And of course you could make your own, but it's actually fairly a time-consuming process to make broth. Generally you want to simmer it. Many times they recommend a simmering period between 12 to 24 hours if you want to maximize it for a bone broth. So it can be quite a laborious process, and then you're spending time, effort, and energy in doing all that. So I think this is a really nice, easy, accessible solution for people that are looking to be able to just enrich the overall diet for their dogs. So definitely gets a pause up for me here at Experiences with My Dog. And like I said, we'll leave all the links in the description below if you want to find out more and check it out. So with that, take care, take it easy, enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, don't forget to spay and neuter your dogs.